All right. So I am here live with you. I hope you are. Oh, looks like it's a little bit too bright out the window there. Hello there. Hello, hello. Good to see you. For some reason, looks pretty good on Instagram. I can see a lot of. Let me try closing that and see if that helps a little bit. A little too much glare out the window. There we go. That's a little bit better. For some reason, it's strange. It's a much better picture, I guess, on my cell phone than it is here on YouTube. Anyway, good to see you. Hope everyone is doing well. Hello there, Tessa Jane. Good to see you. Hope everyone's having a beautiful day so far. Has had a great week and all set for a beautiful weekend. Um, as many of you probably know, my life's been a little hectic lately. We launched a couple days ago, the fasting reset, and the response has been amazing. Some of you are probably on the wait list. If you are and you haven't already booked a call, you can book now into Tuesday. Okay. We're only letting people book several days out. So I want to try to get all these calls done as much as possible. So I'll be on the phone. I was on the phone all day yesterday on Zoom. It'll be the same. I'm at an event this weekend in Naples, Florida, which is why the dress, I've got a sport coat sitting here on the bed. But all day Sunday and Monday, I'll be on calls. So Sunday is already pretty well booked, but there are opportunities for Monday and Tuesday as well. All right. If you haven't yet joined the wait list, I mean, look, so many people, everybody wants to be healthier, right? Let me see if I can make that, if I can come off that window just a little bit more to try to make this a little bit easier. Oh, shoot. Uh-oh. What happened? A little bit easier to see. Sorry about that, guys. Didn't mean to drop you. Let me see here. I've got a new holder for my cell phone because the other one was no longer working very well. But I'm trying to figure that out. Okay, there we go. So many people, everybody wants to be healthier. And I heard something I haven't heard in a long time. Someone said to me, well, I ate a healthier version of a standard American diet, right? Years ago, it occurred to me, trying to fix the standard American diet's a little bit like trying to fix a bicycle that's been hit by a speeding train. If you've ever seen anything hit by a speeding train, a train weighs many, many tons, right? Hundreds of tons. That speeding train hits a bicycle. Well, let me back up. Power, let's see, is force times velocity. So you've got something that weighs tons, many tons, that is speeding along at 50, 60 miles an hour, and it hits something. That thing pretty much disintegrates. I mean, a bicycle would, pretty much just disappear. It would be gone. You wouldn't try to fix that bicycle. And yet this is what people do all the time. They try to fix something that's completely useless. It's a vehicle that doesn't work. It doesn't get you where you want to go. Okay, if you're still trying to fix a vehicle that's not going to get you somewhere, that's not the way to do it. The way to do it is to find a new vehicle, to find a vehicle that actually works. That's a much better strategy. It's a much more successful strategy. So that's basically what I'm offering. I'm leaning over trying to get myself situated here properly on, oh, geez. I'm sorry, this has become a little bit more complicated than I thought it would be. There we go. The problem is I'm holding it from the wrong spot. The way this thing works, when I turn it, it loses its support. So there we go. Okay. So trying to fix a vehicle that's completely useless makes no sense. What we need to do is find a vehicle that actually works. Okay. I have a vehicle that works. It has worked for more than 12,000 other people. It'll work for you too. The question is, why aren't you taking advantage of that? Now, I understand up until now, there have been a lot of reasons. It's too expensive, or I don't have the time. I can't take the time off, Or I can't imagine. I just talked to someone who was like, she just said, people are going weeks without eating anything. Yeah, exactly. When I told her what I did, she said, well, I'm into fasting. And what she meant was 16 hours a day, right? That's what most people think of. I said, right. My average client fast is 26 days. Blew her mind. That's often what happens. Now, you want to be clear, that doesn't mean that there's a problem, except for the fact that people have pre-existing ideas, right? People think they know what something means. People think that they know that, okay, well, going 16 hours without food or even 20 hours, that's healthy. But going X number of days or weeks, that's not healthy. That's a fiction that people create in their mind. And then they make the mistake of believing their own fiction. That's pretty disempowering, to believe a fiction that you've invented. It's bad enough when we believe the fictions that we're told by the government and big pharma and et cetera, et cetera. When we believe those fictions, the school system. But when you believe the fictions you should know you've invented this fiction, but people don't know it. It's so ingrained. It's so deep in their subconscious, they don't know that they've made it up. Okay, that's often what happens. But you want to start to get clear about this. I mean, the only way to real success is we have to have a firm grasp on reality. And the first place to start is, what do I know versus what I think I know, right? It's one thing, we have all those things that we think we know are true, but how many of those things are actually true, right? Very different situation. And that's often where people are stuck, is they're confusing these things. They think they know something, and they don't really realize that much of what they think they know are just beliefs. Again, we don't want to be making choices based on beliefs, especially not when, when people tell me, I don't believe you, or I heard, this is a scam. I got a comment like that recently, right, on one of my reels. I'm like, well, there's tons of science to support what I'm telling you. Not only do I have decades of experience and 3.5 years cumulative experience in my own body, but the science is really, really clear about the benefits of fasting. And yet people go, yeah, that sounds great. It makes sense. Or, that sounds crazy. But in either case, not acting. And people have heard, you've heard this, maybe you've said this, knowledge is power, right? Knowledge is not power. You want to be completely clear about that. Knowledge is potential power. You can know everything in the world and never apply it, and it won't help you. It doesn't. In fact, it might harm you, because if you know everything and don't apply it, you know that you have the answers and aren't acting. You're probably going to feel guilty. You're going to feel bad about yourself, etc. Okay? Knowledge is potential power. Knowledge is amazing. We need the knowledge. We need to know how. Now, here's the good news. Okay? It took me probably 10 years to figure out. And that was a lot of fasting over 10 years. Again, 3.5 years cumulatively. Imagine. Okay, I fasted some, 1,200 days of my life, right? And that's not including all of the intermittent fasting I've done since in the last 30 years. I'm not even talking about that. I'm not talking about all the hours added up or even the 1-day fast. I'm talking about the longer fast. It's a lot. Okay. So Einstein said, all knowledge is gained from experience. You can learn everything yourself the hard way. A lot of people seem to insist on doing that. And I'll be honest with you, that's what I did. It reminds me of something my father told me. When I was a kid, he said to me, and I'm going to quote him. He said, so I'm talking about him. He said, when I was 16, I couldn't believe how little my father knew. And when I turned 25, I was amazed at how much he'd learned in the last 10 years. Okay, his father hadn't learned a lot in 10 years. He had begun to understand how much his father actually knew. My father was a very intelligent guy, right? Rest his soul. He died about 15 years ago. But I insisted on learning everything the hard way. Now, at some point, we're actually living in a time now that's no longer possible. It was said that Leonardo da Vinci was one of my heroes, right? One of my heroes. I mean, how amazing to have such expertise and artistry in so many different fields. Incredible, right? There's a few people like that, but Da Vinci, one of the top guys for me. And in his time, in his day and age, it's said that it was possible to know everything that humans knew, because human knowledge was much more limited compared to what it is today. If you're watching me right now, you have access to a device. It could be a phone, it could be a computer, it could be something else, iPad, whatever, it could be a watch, whatever it is. But through that device, you have access to almost all human knowledge. There probably are still some things that we can't really get access to because they're purposely being gate kept, right? That we're being prevented from seeing them. But we have access to way more knowledge than we have time to learn. So we have to become specialists. You can no longer be a generalist and be particularly good at anything the way you could have done in Da Vinci's time. Okay, where that was possible. Or Rudolf Steiner's time. Okay, that was possible. Or Nikola Tesla's time. Okay, amazing genius is all. But today, Tesla, I think, was a little bit more focused, although, again, he had ideas across a wide range of different subject matters. And certainly Rudolf Steiner, if you're not familiar, the founder of the Waldorf school system, he published in something like a dozen different academic disciplines. That's unheard of. People don't do that. And today, again, it would probably be almost impossible, because you can't publish today without having specialized knowledge, and no one has time to have that much specialized knowledge in so many different fields. So I've specialized in one thing, and that is maximizing human potential. Okay? Maximizing human potential. I look at every single area of that. I've had people say to me, well, you're the fasting guy. You shouldn't be giving people advice on diet. Well, here's the thing. I have specialized in fasting because I came to realize with my own experience, and then the experience of my first, dozens of clients, everybody's walking around, seriously dehydrated, and they can never change that until they get the garbage out. B, with toxins that they've been taking into the body their entire life. Okay, issues, both of those things, major issues, right? And so that in order to be as healthy as possible, we have to fast long enough and properly. There's no way around that. It's the only way we can actually get there. Okay, I see we have, looks like Instagram is still, there we go. We're back. Unfortunately, I'm in a hotel this weekend. The Wi-Fi here is questionable at best. And I'm sorry, I can still see on YouTube. It's looks like I've got a bit of a halo around me. Actually, it's weird how that light appears. Actually appears to be in front of me, not just behind me. But anyway, I guess the only thing I could do would be to close the blinds even more. Hopefully it's okay. Hopefully it's not too distracting to you guys that are there. Okay, so yes, I focused on fasting because it's absolutely essential, and there was very little out there. There were very few people that really understood it. There's a few who've been doing it for a while, but they don't understand it. They don't, because they don't have anywhere near the same experience I do. Again, knowledge is gained from experience, right? You might have read the tipping point. You have to spend 10,000 hours doing something. I've spent a lot more than 10,000 hours supervising fasts. There's probably no one else who's come close to 10,000 hours supervising fasts. I know several people out there now, clients of mine, who fasted once or twice or three times, had no training, don't understand the process, and they're holding. I know one person who's never done any supervised fasts and is now calling herself a fasting expert. Okay, if you see this, you know who you are. That is false advertising. You're misrepresenting yourself, and you're going to put people in danger. Hopefully nobody believes you. Okay, because unless someone has a lot of experience and a lot of training, they probably should not be guiding people through this very intense, incredibly powerful process. Remember, power is neutral, beneficial if applied properly, harmful when not applied properly. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can fix the light issue here a little bit more. Closing that one. It's going to get kind of dark in here, but is that a little bit better? Maybe. Yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. All right. So yeah, fasting absolutely critical, no question about it. Let me see if I turn some light on. Does that help? Well, it changes things a lot, but I'm not so sure it's much better. You can see half my face. I'm not sure if that's the good half. Here's the thing. No matter how clean we get the body, no matter to what level we take our health and vitality, to keep it there, we also have to understand diet. And I understand it as well as anybody because it has been part of my focus now for 50 years. 50. I've had to understand exercise and sunlight and all of it. I had a poser. There's a poser out there pushing garbage on people who said, well, he doesn't he doesn't understand iodine the way I do. Oh, yeah, I do. Here's what I understand. Just like every other mineral, especially the ones that are trace elements that we need tiny amounts of, and more than that is harmful to us, we should be getting it from our food. And it's still in food in trace amounts. The reason they started iodizing salt 100 plus years ago, because the average person's body works so poorly, they couldn't get what they need. My clients and I have no problems with iodine or anything else. We're getting our nutrients from our food. Once the body is clean, it's not difficult to do that. It's easy to do that, just like every other species does. Think about this. There's 25 million species. How many of them need supplements? They don't, because they're eating the diet that their body was intended for in nature. Okay, if we eat the diet that our bodies were intended for, there's no reason we should need supplements either, and we don't. Now, you might need them right now, and I'm not telling you not to take them. If you are super deficient in vitamin D, you're going to have to take some, but you want to be careful because it's harmful to you. Okay, if you feel like you need iodine, be super careful, because if you take more than a little bit, it becomes poisonous to you. Okay, it's one of those things where in nature, it shows up in tiny, tiny amounts. And that's all we need. So when you're taking supplements, I had someone recently say, well, I'm taking this much every day. I'm like, no, don't do that. That's a super toxic level that can create serious problems for people. Okay. So I understand a lot of these things, but my point really is simply this. You can go out and try to learn everything I've learned. It might take you 50 years to do that, maybe less now because there's so much information available, as I said before. You still have to have time to take it all in and synthesize it all, right? Understand it all. I understood fasting, really deeply understood it, not only after I had done many, many thousands of days of fast in my own body, but also only after guiding X number of people through the process. I learned from that too. Okay. So you could try to learn all those things yourself, but wouldn't it make more sense to get guidance from someone who already knows those things and can help you so you don't have to try to figure it all out yourself and make mistakes? Okay. If you haven't yet joined the wait list for Fasting Reset, what are you waiting for? Now, if you have joined the wait list and you see the video testimonials, the last time I looked at the page, there were 3. We had a couple more we were putting up. We have to do the work to edit them. This has been a sprint in the end to get everything ready to go, because there was so many videos for the program, so much content, written material. I still have a lot of content for the last 2 weeks that I still need to review and approve. Okay, all the videos have now been revised, and because that takes time, much more time to work on. But I still have written information. There's so much. It's been a lot of work now for a long time. But if you watch the video testimonials on that page, once you go there, and if you haven't gone there, in my bios, there should be a link called Fast to Rise. Go there, click on it. Okay, it'll take you to the page where you can join the waitlist. Why would you want to join the waitlist? Well, someone says, why would I join a waitlist? Well, it's very simple. A, you get a free vitality assessment with me. Okay, you can spend a half an hour. Let's be clear. This is not for chatting. It's not for you to ask me all your health-related questions. That's not what it is. This is for me to assess your current condition, your situation, to see if this is appropriate for you or not. Okay, 30-minute vitality assessment with me. Okay, you'll get an amazing ebook. I've heard very, very positive things about the ebook, Ancient Secrets of Healing. Okay, I wrote its book, 20 pages, I think, something like that, 18, 20. It's really, really valuable information. And if you're ready to stop talking about it and actually make it happen, you get a significant founders discount. This is our first cohort, right? We just launched this 2 days ago. And yeah, I haven't looked today because I've been tied up all day. I only have a little bit of time here. But by last night, when I went to bed, we had just shy of 100 people already sign up for the wait list. Okay, fantastic response. Lots of calls scheduled already. If you want to get on my schedule, you're going to want to get that booked as soon as you can. Okay, if you choose to get in, you're going to save quite a bit of money. Now, still people, yeah, but I don't know if I can afford it. Well, I get it. I get it. But here's the thing. When something's important enough to you, you figure out how to make it happen. I mean, I fully understand. If you don't have the money, you don't have the money. And I have people tell me all the time, I can't afford it. Let me tell you a quick story. I'm going to shoot a video on this soon. Haven't done it yet, so it can't be recently, but soon. Years ago, I had a client. He was a young man in his 20s, and he came to a full-day seminar with me, and he brought his mother. He'd been trying to get his mother for months, and she wasn't, finally she agreed to come. She was an MD, a medical doctor. And, she had all these ideas, right? So she wasn't really open to learning. And her son was eating the way I do, and she didn't approve. And so she, why would she want to come hear from me, his mentor, right? Not interested. She finally came. She argued with me throughout the morning. Okay. At the lunch break, before lunch, I sort of tied up that one area we were talking about diet. I tied all that up. And she said to me at the lunch break, she said, I apologize for arguing with you so much at the beginning. But she said, now I see everything you said. It actually makes perfect sense. Okay. I see Instagram is temporarily on hold, hopefully reconnecting in a moment. There we go. We're back. All right. So, but I remember she said to me in one of these questions, she was saying, I was talking about the fact that humans are natural frugivores. Frugivores are animals that eat a fruit-based diet. Chimps and bonobos, for instance, are frugivores, right? They get the vast majority of their calories from eating fruit. They get small amounts of leaves. Leaves contain very few calories. They eat flesh maybe once or twice a year, a couple times a year at the most, typically. So it's a very tiny part of what they're consuming. It's mostly fruit. Our systems are virtually identical. There's a big difference in the large intestine, the length of the large intestine. Ours are short because we no longer need to ferment fiber to create things that we need from that. Because we have access to soft leaves, we can easily digest. We don't need to ferment them to be able to get the value from them. So our systems have changed. Okay, but other than that, they're virtually identical. And they're completely different from those of carnivores and omnivores and other species, right? Our systems are specialized for a fruit and soft leaf diet. That's what they're set up for, and that's what works perfectly for them. Anything else, not so much, right? Not so much. So she said, I'm talking about how humans are natural frugivores. And she said to me, humans are omnivores. And I said, how do you know that? Like, why do you say that? And she said, because we eat everything. I said, okay, I got it. I said, okay, if you went onto the roof of this 2-story building and you jumped off the roof flapping your arms, would that make you a bird? No, of course not. It's not the behavior that determines what we are. Okay, if you start walking around on all fours and barking, is that going to make you a dog? No, it's your physiology and anatomy that determines what we are. Okay, we don't have the digestive physiology and anatomy of an omnivore. We have the digestive physiology and anatomy of a frugivore. And so it makes no difference what people do. Yeah, people eat only meat and they call themselves carnivores. Are they carnivores? No, they're frugivores who are seriously confused. They're eating a diet that is guaranteed. I mean, they increase their risk of death from all causes. Okay, they're damaging. I mean, they increase their risk of heart attack and stroke, all causes, cancer. They have much higher rates of dementia. They lower their testosterone. Meat-eating guys think, well, you can't be manly without eating meat. Actually, if manly means everything works the way it's supposed to, yeah, your testosterone levels actually go up on a plant-based diet. We don't have to eat hormones. I mean, you don't have to eat fingernails to build fingernails. Okay, so we don't have to eat the hormones to get the hormones. Our bodies produce them when they have what they need. And we get that best from fruit, leaves, and sipping enough clean spring water. The very best we can do. Okay, that's the best we can do. So you can try to figure all this out, but the fasting reset is going to teach you much of what you need to know. Okay, and it's going to give you the chance to experience fasting with me. Now, it's a 7-day fast. It's not the 21, 26, 30-day fast. But that's it. You know, if you're one of those people that's been on the fence for years, or for years saying, yeah, but I can't afford to do this, or I don't have time to do this. Now you can. You can afford to do this. It's a lot less expensive. Okay. You only need a week. And I mean, if you really can't take all the time off, you can still do it. You want to be resting as completely as possible. How much benefit we get depends on how much rest we take. Okay. But rather than putting this off, I mean, the best time to do it was yesterday, right? Last year, last month. That would have been the best time. Then you'd already be in a new situation. But if you didn't already do that, the second best time is right now. And you have an opportunity right now. Okay. So www.fasttorise.com. Go there, add yourself to the wait list. You're going to get some cool free stuff. And if you are really ready to take it to a whole new level, you're going to get founders pricing, and it's going to be an amazing program for you, because you need to be able to sort, to distinguish the garbage from the truth. And there's a lot of people out there who are trying to sell you things, supplements and juices and all kinds of stuff, powders, right? I mean, nonsense. Think about this. How many other species on the planet need those things? Okay, yeah, I mean, people say, yeah, but the soils are depleted. Right, buy organic produce. Your health is the most important thing you have. Okay, if you can't afford organic produce, what you might want to do, maybe, is change your priorities. What are you spending money on that you don't need to? Because what's more important than high quality fuel for your body? If you're eating commercial produce, you are putting pesticides and herbicides and commercial fertilizers, petroleum-based toxic products into your body, some of which have been shown to be carcinogenic. This isn't going to help you. It's not going to allow you to create a high level of health. You can't do that on commercial produce. Okay. And studies have shown that organic produce has between 2 and 10 times the nutrient content. So yeah, but well, I'll just juice then, and I'll get more nutrients that way. Well, now you're dramatically increasing the volume of material your body has to process. You're causing more work. You actually absorb less, not more, because your body doesn't have time to start the process of digestion, which happens in the mouth as we chew food. When we drink it, instead, we get the downsides without getting much of the upside. And yet people say, yeah, but I get much healthier with juices. I get it. I did too. You know why? Because the juices were better than what I was doing before. Okay. But can you heal your body completely just drinking juices? No, of course not. They're not even really good for you. They're just better than the other things people eat. Nowhere near what's optimal. And even if it was optimal, you're still having to process calories and nutrients. Your body is still doing all that work. Okay, this is why every other species on the planet does what? They lay down and stop eating. Well, that's just because they don't have juicers. No, it's because instinctively that's what their body tells them to do, to lay down and stop eating. This is how the body heals. This is how the body detoxifies. And you have an opportunity now. Okay. This is the opportunity right now. All right. I'm going to answer some questions here. I'm not going to stay for the whole hour today because I have to be back before then. So I'm going to have to jump off a little earlier than usual. But let me scroll back up here and see if I missed anything. If I didn't say hello, well, I didn't actually say hello to very many people, unless you were here at the very beginning. I probably didn't say hello to you by name. So, all right, I think that's, looks like I missed at the very top there. Hello there. Matt, good to see you. All right, so let me scroll back down. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss any questions. I'm always telling people don't repost them because I'm going to start at the top. So I want to start at the top. And here, of course, after being on already for half an hour, we're way down now here on Instagram. And I'm going to come to YouTube next. So if you're on YouTube, hold on. I'm going to answer you next. I'll go one or two here, and then I'll go there. All right, here we go. Lena says, hey, Loren, given an optimal blood spread and all the metrics of bioimpedance scale like body weight and body fat, how do you calculate the hydration level and know if it's optimal? It's vital to know. Thank you. Yeah, it's unfortunately, as I said to you the other day in a message, it's not something I can easily explain. I can tell you the concept, but I can't. I mean, there's a formula that I had to write to make this work, and I'm not going to share that formula here, okay? Because people don't even understand it, and then they're going to misuse it. All right. So, but the idea is, right, the bioimpedance scale only tells you what percentage of your body mass is water, but that's not hydration. Look, it wouldn't be possible, but if you're 100% body fat, okay, body fat's only 10% water. So if you're 100% body fat, your body water can only be 10%. If you're 100% lean mass, then your body water should be 75%, okay, or 80%. Okay, but no one's going to be either of those things. We have to have fat. We can't be all fat. We have to have lean tissue. It's going to be a mixture of the two. The point is we have to subtract the water that is attributable to the body fat. So there's an explanation, but how to actually calculate it, sorry, that's not going to happen on a call like this. It's not really possible here. Okay, it's way more involved than that. I mean, I've shown this to people over and over again. They still don't understand it. So that's all I can say about that here. All right. Wealthy Way. Oh, I'm sorry. There's one here. Mango Jane says, how do I book and join the wait list? Yes, I'm sorry. You know what I'm going to do right here now? I'm not sure. I don't remember how to pin something here, but I'm going to type on YouTube. It's easy. I guess I could do the same thing on Instagram, except I have to move my phone again to do it. But on Instagram, I'm going to type it in right here. And it is simply HTTPS. You don't really even need that. S colon. Let me see. www.fast2rise.com. That's it. Okay, so I typed it there. You can click on that link on YouTube, and it'll take you to the page where you can sign up. You're going to want to do that as soon as you can. Okay, it'll be in your best interest to do that. It doesn't affect me, I promise you. We're going to be super busy with this program. I'm gonna do the same thing here. Give me just a second. If you're on YouTube, bear with me. Let me see here. Oops. HTTPS colon. There we go. It's, I finger type, and the phone is sitting on a holder above my laptop screen, so I actually have very little access to it right now. It's a little bit awkward to type here right now. but I'm doing my best. Fasttorise.com. Okay, and that's it. Just go there. The rest is self-explanatory. Explore the page. Take a look at everything there. You can go ahead and sign up now and then take a look at it. But just make sure you get that done. Because again, I promise you, if you're coachable, this is probably going to be the most powerful thing you've ever done. If your credit is decent, okay, we have Afterpay as one of the options. You may be familiar with Afterpay. It's a company that, if you buy something online, you often see Afterpay as an option. If they approve your credit, they make the payment for you. They're basically lending you the money, and then you make payments to them. It's like using a credit card, okay? Except it's less expensive and easy, and you don't have to apply for a credit card. It's just you apply right there. I don't think there's a ding to your credit. I'm not sure about that. But I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it doesn't affect your. It's not a hard pull on your credit if you're worried about affecting your credit negatively. I don't think it will. Okay, but it makes it easier to pay. You don't have to pay all at one time, and it costs quite a bit less. Remember, there's a special founder's price that I promise you is never going to happen again. Okay, we're offering it right now only for this cohort because this is the first one. Right. Once we have a whole bunch of raving, folks, again, some of you have known me for a long time now, if not in person, here online. I have never, since the first year I ran 2 magazine ads for Tanglewood. We got nothing from it and it was expensive. And I was like, okay, I'm not doing that anymore. We've never done any paid marketing or advertising. It's now in March, it will have been 30 years. We closed in middle of February. But if we were still open, it would have been 30 years. We stayed pretty full, no marketing, no advertising expenses at all. Why? Because what we did was so powerful that people would come back and they would refer other people. Okay, so we never needed to do that. And I'm sure the same thing is going to happen here when people see this program, go through the program. I think you're going to be blown away. It's pretty amazing, if I don't say so myself. All right. Wealthy Way says, hi, Loren. The medical medium is very popular, but he's totally against water fasting because he says it causes extreme adrenal fatigue. Can you please speak on that? Yeah, it's complete nonsense. Here's an example of someone who, I don't know about you. Do you think he's actually getting like downloads from heaven or from something? I don't think so. Okay. There's a shitload of science on fasting that says it's incredibly powerful. Uh-oh. I seem to have lost my Instagram. Oh no. I'm gonna see if I can jump back onto Instagram. I seem to have dropped out here. Maybe you can still see me. I'm not sure. All I'm seeing now is myself full screen. It doesn't look like I'm online. I'm not sure what's happened. So if you're there, and unfortunately I can't seem to get out of there. To go back into there because all I see is full screen. All right. Well, and I'm going to have to stop in just a moment anyway. It's too bad. I hate when this happens because I can't, it doesn't show up as a recording. Unfortunately, if it drops out in the middle, it's just gone. And I'm guessing that's what happened. I don't know what's happening here. I'm not sure what's going on. This is the problem of being totally non-technical. All right. Anyway, it is what it is. I can't even get back to it now. Let's see if I just turn that off and come back to it in a minute. Yeah, we're talking about medical medium. So here's the first thing. Okay, please don't do this. But let's say you walk into a fast food restaurant. There's a 18-year-old flipping burgers. Okay, he makes, I don't know what they make these days. I have no idea what minimum wage is, but let's say it's $10 an hour. Are you going to take business advice from a kid flipping burgers? He does not own the franchise. He's just flipping burgers for $10 an hour. I would hope not. Okay. You want to take advice on something from someone who's actually gotten results. Do you think medical medium looks healthy? Personally, I don't think that's the case. I think there's clearly not so healthy. So I wouldn't take his advice. The science is completely clear about how powerful fasting is. Okay, maybe he realizes, and this is not the first time. I know other people out there. I'm pretty confident that what they're telling people, they're telling them because they know if they knew the truth, they wouldn't need them anymore. Nobody would need the medical medium. Okay, fasting. If your adrenals are fatigued, what would they need? What would fatigued adrenals need? Well, when you're fatigued, what do you need? You need to rest, right? Fasting is complete physiological rest. This is how we rest as deeply as possible. There's no other way where we're getting deeper rest. I've had dozens of clients heal their adrenal glands fasting, probably hundreds by now. It's been 30 years. It's a common thing. We see this all the time. Everybody gets better. Nobody's ever gotten worse because their adrenals were burned out. Okay, it's complete nonsense. And unfortunately, an example of someone who should know what he doesn't know. He's talking about things he has no knowledge of. Okay, I'm never going to do that. Ask me about something I don't know anything about. I'll tell you I don't know anything about that. Okay, I'll be very clear and direct about that. I don't pretend to know everything. Okay, he shouldn't be talking about fasting. But again, if people were fasting, they definitely would not need the medical medium. Nobody would. They would realize that it's a lot of nonsense. Okay, I mean, it's great. It's a mostly raw diet. I don't think he's all raw. I don't pay much attention to him, but I think he recommends mostly raw. But I mean, again, how does every other species become as healthy as possible? They do what's natural for their bodies. Are they drinking juices? Of course not. Would they be better off? Of course not. Juices are less optimal than whole foods by far, not even close. Okay, so he's got a business. It's very successful. He's way more successful than I am because I've never been focused on trying to make money. I've been focused on trying to help people. Okay, he's telling people things that make him money, but are they helping you? No. I mean, that's not helping. He doesn't know what he's talking about there. All right, what one food can you live on? I could live on watermelon. That would be the one food. If I had to choose one, it would definitely be watermelon. There are other things I enjoy very much, but nothing as much as watermelon. I'm actually going to turn my phone off and turn it back on because I can't get back on. Actually, you know what? I've got to jump off here anyway. All right, so I have put the link here. You can see my name is highlighted. It's currently at the bottom, but if you want to jump in, go ahead and do that. And by the way, folks, yeah, thank you, Jared. I see I've got some likes already, but if you're here and you think this is valuable content, but you haven't given it a like or a thumbs up, please do. I mean, is it controversial? Absolutely. I get it. I'm telling you things that other people are going to tell you is the exact opposite. Okay. But look at these people, first of all. Are they healthy? There's a lot of health gurus out there who are my age and have a lot of wrinkles on their face. Okay. Or who still have all kinds of issues. Take advice from people who are getting the results that you want for yourself. Okay, if you think this is valuable, please give it a thumbs up. Please give it a like. Don't forget, you can take the link once this is done, and you can share that on your own pages. Let's get other people exposed to this information. Okay, I guarantee every client they're going to take their health to a much higher level, and it doesn't fail. As long as they do what they need to do. Some people won't do what they need to do. Okay, but as long as they do, it's amazing what happens. All right, let me see if I can finish the rest of these questions. Can you explain why fasting cures for malabsorption? Fat malabsorption. Yeah. Fasting is the only way to heal anything in the body. If you have malabsorption, what does that mean? Your body's not either digesting, absorbing, right, or assimilating properly. That's what it means. That's all it is. Okay, so how do you fix that? Well, we have to, the only thing we can do is to get out of the body's way because only the body can heal the body. The body corrects the underlying issues when we allow it to. We give it the conditions it needs to do that. That's all we need to do. There's nothing else we need to do. Just that. That's all it is. Okay, so when we do that, incredible things happen. All right, I'm sorry if that's not technical enough, but that's what it is. Can you write a book? I've got most of the book written. I'll be getting a book finished this year for sure. And then there'll be a second and third book. I've got a lot of books in me. There's a lot of things I need to share that I haven't had a chance to. All right. Eric, the epic fruit fanatic says, Eric Ferris here, asked about the melon mouth burn a couple weeks ago. I was talking truly about truly ripe melons that are super soft, sweet, and juicy. What are the best ways to avoid reduce that burn sting? Honestly, Eric, as I probably told you then, I mean, I've only seen this with things like honeydew, and I think it only happens when they're picked too early. Okay, because they don't ripen once they're picked. So they might be mostly there, but I don't think they're all the way there. If they're all the way there, I don't think there's going to be any mouth burn. Okay, I don't think that happens. So I think the answer is you pick melons that are actually ready to eat, perfectly ripe, and there aren't so many. That's often not what people are getting. Jennifer Lynn, I have 5 sisters, 3 sisters and 2 half sisters. One of my sisters is named Jennifer Lynn Lockman. Are you my sister? Doesn't look like it. What advice would you give to someone who has cancer and is going through chemo? Well, that's a really heavy situation. It's a difficult place to be. You're already committed to chemo. As soon as you're done, before you're done, now, today, when we get off of this, okay, info@tanglewoodwellnesscenter.org. info@tanglewoodwellnesscenter.org. Email me, okay? What we want to do is as soon as you're done, we want to get you into a fast because chemotherapeutic agents are incredibly toxic substances. The intention is to kill the cancer cells. The problem is the cancer cells are your cells. So anything that kills cancer cells is killing your cells. And unfortunately, I have worked with hundreds of people, hundreds of women, mostly with breast cancer. It's the most common cancer for women, who had had treatment. They had had they'd had chemo, radiation. Some of them had had mastectomies, radical mastectomies, sometimes lumpectomies. And the cancer within 5 years came back worse than before. It always comes back worse because they're suppressing the body's immune function. And then eventually it's going to just be much worse than it was because the body is not able to keep up as well as it could before. They're making it worse, not better. They're suppressing. This is what medicine does. Suppresses symptoms so you feel better, but it's not actually making you healthier. Okay? You're already in it. Personally, I would never do chemotherapy. You're already in it. So, do what you need to do. But the goal is going to be to, as soon as possible, to fast with me to allow your body to get rid of the chemotherapy and actually heal. Because the tumors are not the problem. They're a symptom of a problem. We need to address the underlying issue, which is toxicity and poor immune function. What chemo does is it makes your body more toxic and destroys your body's immune function. So we need to fast long enough and properly to raise and I'll tell you everything else you need to do too when you're working with me, but that's going to be the first thing. As soon as possible, that's what you need to do. Okay? info@tanglewoodwellnesscenter.org. Send me a message today. I'm going to be tied up all day. I'll respond this evening. And I mean, if you're ready, whenever you're done, you want to go, we can make it happen. It's the single most beneficial thing you can do for your body, period. Okay, that's what I would do. It's the only thing I would do. All right, I'll take one more, then I've got to go. Is Tungak Ali healthy to take in my juice fasts? It tastes better. I don't know what Tungak Ali is. I don't drink juice. I don't use supplements. I don't use superfoods. I have no idea if this is a substance. I've never heard of it. Personally, juices don't belong in your body. Again, I know that's controversial. Juices are better than McDonald's, no question, hands down. Okay, they're better than the processed crap at the gas station. Are they better than eating whole apples and oranges and watermelons and cantaloupes and papayas and grapes and strawberries and mangoes? Of course not. They're a lot more inferior. You lose a significant percentage of nutrients to oxidation in a matter of minutes. So my advice would be stop drinking juices and eat whole foods. If your body needs to heal, okay, I've given you the link right here, fasttorise.com. Listen, my last juice feast, it's not even fasting, my last juice feast was 4 months, 120 days. And then I did 1 week on water. And I was like, oh my God, this is so much more powerful. This program is an incredible education, amazing support, a community, and 1 week on water guided by me, the most experienced fasting supervisor in the world. The juices, you should sell your juicer, give it away to someone you don't like, okay, and fast. Do a real fast, and then eat the way our bodies are meant for. There's nothing that even comes close to that. Not even close. Hope to see you at Woodstock Fest in August. I won't be there. They won't have me because Don Bennett encouraged all the speakers with his prompting, said, no, we're not going to come if Loren's there. That's why I was invited to speak last year before, whatever it was. And then they uninvited me because Don had complained. Don Bennett, as if anybody should care what Don Bennett thinks. Okay, I don't want to go there, but yeah. Northern California time. Northern California this time. Okay. I won't go as a paid attendee. I'm not going to do that. First of all, I had many friends who have said to me, yeah, it's not really my scene. I would be happy to be there to share information. That's my favorite thing. But I'm definitely not going to pay them money. No chance. They want to bring me in as a speaker. Here's what should happen, folks. If you're here and you'd like to see me at the Woodstock Fruit Festival, tell them that that's what you want to see. Because guess what happens? If enough people said to them, hey, we want Loren Lockman there, maybe they'd have me. Okay. Instead, they allow some guy look at Don Bennett. Have you ever seen him with his shirt off? Is there any muscle mass at all? Again, don't take health advice from someone who's not healthy. Okay. Fitness is not health. There are professional athletes who are very fit, but not healthy. But you can't be healthy without being fit. You got to have enough muscle mass. Okay. Your body has to function well physically. Okay. You want to be careful who you're taking advice from. All right. Tanglewood Center is run by someone else. No, Tanglewood's closed. Tanglewood doesn't exist. There's no Tanglewood. Okay. I'm now working with people remotely. It is possible that there'll be an option to do a remote fast with me where you can be somewhere where people are taking care of you. I'm negotiating with a friend right now in the tropics who's got a place, beautiful place. I've been there. And at some point, it's possible, I'm not so sure, it's possible that I'll run another center, but I'm not sure if I'll ever do that. Okay. The most important thing is the knowledge and experience of whoever's guiding you through the process. And I'm going to tell you that having me guide you remotely is far better than anything else you can do. Don't wait. That may never happen. Okay. Take your health, take care of it now. That was the whole point of this today. Take care of it now. Okay. Nightmare, if you haven't already done so, I don't know who you really are. Fast to Rise. Click on it. Okay. Go through this process a month from, we actually start on the 27th of October. So by the end of November, you will be a different person, a much better version of yourself. Are you ready for that? Are you interested in that? What are you waiting for? Guys, I've got to go. I'm late now. I've got to run. It's been a pleasure. I will be back next Friday. Next Friday, I'm in a similar situation, but I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to be at a hotel at an event. I'm going to duck out to do this call. Again, this one is longer than I expected it to be. I got to go. I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.